Brothers who've been scammed by a gold digger all know. 20,000 a month just isn't enough. After I got into university, my parents raised my monthly living expenses to $2,000. Unexpectedly, once my girlfriend's family found out, they quietly cut her allowance from $200 to $100. I didn't get it. I asked, "Your parents did that? Can you still afford to eat?" My girlfriend looked pitiful and said, "My younger brother's taking the college entrance exam next year too. My mom said it's too hard to support both of us. Honey, if I can't eat enough, you'll take care of me, won't you?" I was stunned. You're already acting like a gold digger, aren't you? Aren't you even a little ashamed? Chapter 1. My name is Ethan. This year, I outdid myself on the college entrance exam and got into a top university in another province. My parents were thrilled. They hosted a big banquet and invited all our family and friends. Everyone offered their congratulations. Just my grandparents alone gifted me $20,000. That's not even counting my maternal grandparents, uncles, aunts, and cousins, all giving generously. My dad grinned and said, "Ethan, you graduated high school and you're already a rich kid." I laughed and replied, "Yeah, I'll support you guys in the future." Although I had a lot of money in hand, I've always been careful with spending. Even as a kid, I never wasted a cent. My parents had already made a plan. Once I started university, they'd give me $2,000 a month for living expenses. They told me, "College costs a lot, and you're grown up now. If there's something you want, just buy it. If it's not enough, call us. Don't borrow from others." I had already looked up the cost of living in cities. In college, $250 is enough to live comfortably, so $2,000, that was more than generous. I said, "Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom." Chapter 2. While I was living large, my girlfriend Sophia wasn't nearly as fortunate. Sophia was the prettiest girl in our class, with flawless looks, elegant and refined. We were desk mates for 3 years in high school and just ordinary friends. It wasn't until right before the college entrance exam that we agreed. If we both got into the same university, we'd start dating. And now we had. So naturally, Sophia became my girlfriend. Her family wasn't as well off as mine. She had a younger brother just a year below us, and her family had lots of expenses. She said her mom could give her at most $200 a month. 200 sounds okay under normal circumstances, but in a high-cost city like it didn't stretch far. I didn't want her to feel down, so I said, "If you're careful, it should still be fine." Sophia looked aggrieved and said, "Yeah, I guess there's no choice. By the way, how much are your parents giving you?" I hesitated. "You really don't need to know," which only made her more curious. She kept pressing me. I had no choice but to tell the truth. 10 times what you get?" she asked. $2,000? I nodded. "Yeah." Sophia let out a dramatic groan. She bit her lip and said, "That's so unfair. I need to buy makeup, wear contacts, and I need long skirts, short skirts, dresses. You guys wear the same clothes for a whole year. Girls have so many more expenses. And your allowance is 10 times mine? Isn't it supposed to be raise daughters rich, sons poor? How can they treat us like this? It's totally unfair." What was she even saying? I said, speechless. "Do you hear yourself right now? So now raise daughters rich, sons poor is fair based on what? You say girls spend more, but maybe it's because of that mentality, that boys should be raised poor, that guys feel ashamed to enjoy life. That's why we spend less. We all only get one life. What's wrong with a guy wanting to enjoy it too?" She was being absolutely ridiculous. Sophia bit her lip and stayed silent. Chapter 3. A couple of days later, there was a secondhand charity sale in front of the school, a spontaneous event where graduating seniors sold stuff they no longer needed. I brought some backpacks, magazines, used notebooks, and a tablet to sell. Sophia didn't have much to sell. She had saved most of her things for her younger brother. After helping me mind the stall for a bit, Sophia looked a little embarrassed and asked, "Ethan, could you maybe give me a discount on that backpack?" I pointed to my old backpack. "This one?" She nodded. "Yeah." It was a sports brand backpack I had bought for over $300 back then, definitely not cheap. The style was fine for high school, but for college, it felt a little childish. Since I had taken good care of it, it was still in pretty good shape, at least 70% new. I had been planning to sell it for maybe $30 or $40. Sophia said quietly, "My brother saw this exact backpack at the mall before. He really liked it, but it was way too expensive for us, so we couldn't buy it. If I could give it to him, he'd be thrilled. Hearing that made me feel a little sad. I thought, well, I won't be using it anymore, and if someone else can get use out of it, that's better than it gathering dust. So I said generously, all right, no charge. Take it. Sophia's eyes lit up with surprise. She stood on tiptoe and kissed me on the cheek. Thank you, babe, she said. Later, she brought it home, and her brother even messaged me to say thank you. I felt a little embarrassed. Just like that, our carefree summer break flew by, and before I knew it, it was time to report to university. Chapter 4. Although Sophia and I were headed to the same destination, unfortunately, we couldn't travel together. My parents had booked me a plane ticket while she got a train ticket. We could only meet up once we arrived at the university. On the first night after I got there, I felt we should celebrate a bit. So I picked a nice local specialty restaurant near campus. But as soon as Sophia walked in, she glanced around at the decor and the menu, then lowered her head and said softly, "Do you usually eat at places like this? If you weren't treating me, I wouldn't dare step in here." I said, "It's not that expensive. If you're frugal, it's about $7 per person." Sophia mumbled, "Sigh. My mom only gives me $100 a month for living expenses. From now on, I guess I can only afford the cafeteria." $100? She can't even afford the cafeteria? When I first arrived, I checked the dining hall prices. Set meals were typically $1.20 or $1.30, and some went up to $1.90 or $2. 3 meals a day, even frugally, would still cost $2 to $3 at least. Does she not buy clothes or daily necessities? I asked, confused. Didn't you say it was $200? Sophia sighed. My brother's taking the college entrance exam next year too, and he needs tutoring. It's hard for my family to support 2 students, so they told me to spend less. I didn't quite know what to say. It wasn't really my place to comment on her family, so I said, "I'll ask around about work-study jobs for you later." I figured being self-reliant isn't a bad thing. But Sophia gave me this pitiful look and said in a whiny voice, "Babe, if I can't eat enough, you'll take care of me, right?" I almost instinctively said, "Of course," but just then a strange feeling hit me. There seemed to be some hidden connection between my living expenses and hers. Her mom had originally said she'd give her $200, and adults surely know the cost of living. Now it suddenly got cut in half. Was it really because they couldn't afford it, or was it because they expected me to make up the difference? But the thing is, I'm just a student. I'm spending my parents' money. They're responsible for raising me. But what right do I have to use their money to support her? Seeing me fall silent, Sophia stared at me intently and said, "Babe, you're really not going to take care of me?" She looked like she was trying to force a commitment out of me. I'm a straight-talking science guy, not great at playing games, so I said bluntly, "You're already trying to be a gold digger, aren't you?" At least a little ashamed, Sophia bit her lip. "Ethan." Sophia was so upset her eyes were red, looking utterly wronged and pitiful. We were stuck in a silent standoff for about a minute before I suddenly felt kind of sorry for her. A girl from a family that favors boys over girls. Even after getting into college, her mom wouldn't give her any living expenses. My attitude softened. I said directly, "Don't be mad. I was just joking. But do you think your mom's doing this to push me into spending money on you?" Some things are better said out loud than kept bottled up. Sophia's pupils shrank. She stammered, "And no." I said, "All right then. After all, the money's in my hands. If she's trying to milk me for it, it won't be that easy." Because of this, I lost all desire to take her to the movies. After we ate, we just headed back to school, and just like that, my fresh and tense college life began. The next day at noon, I met Sophia at the cafeteria. I got myself a roast duck set meal, and she bought a bowl of cold noodles. I was starving and finished my plate in just a few bites. Suddenly, Sophia frowned and snapped, "Why are you only thinking about yourself? There was just one chicken leg, and you didn't even ask me before eating it." I looked at her, confused. "It's just a chicken leg. What's the big deal?" She bit her lip, looking hurt, and said, "Do you think I care about the chicken leg? I just think you're way too selfish. Look at other guys. What kind of boyfriend doesn't save the best stuff for his girlfriend? Why are you like this?" I put down my chopsticks, my voice turning cold. "Sophia, I bought this meal with my own money. What's wrong with me eating the chicken leg?" She tried to cut in, but I interrupted her straight away. "If you're eating stuff I bought, then stop with the nonsense. I'm telling you, either eat it or I'll just throw it away. Don't pull this emotional guilt trip on me. She muttered, looking aggrieved. I'll eat it. I was speechless. After we left the cafeteria, we went to a fruit store. Fruit on campus was pretty pricey. I picked a box of lychees and a box of watermelon. Just as I was about to pay, Sophia walked over with a box of durian, looking all pitiful. Babe, can you get me this one too? She asked with a pleading look. She wasn't being pushy, just pitiful, so I reached over and paid for it. And just like that, the first month flew by. I checked the balance on my meal card and realized my living expenses were several times higher than the rest of my dorm mates. But it wasn't like I was eating better than them. So I looked closely at the spending details: buns, sausages, trendy snacks, clothes, shoes, and all kinds of cosmetics and skincare products. Individually, they didn't seem like a big deal, but when added up, it was a ridiculous amount, all spent on Sophia. Just thinking about how she even swiped rolls of toilet paper I bought made me start losing patience. That evening, when Sophia came to ask me to dinner, I said bluntly, "Sorry, I'm on a fitness kick lately, just eating low-calorie meals." Chapter 5. When Sophia heard what I said, she froze for a second, then quickly responded, "Babe, why are you even working out? Health and happiness are what really matter. If you're just eating boiled eggs and boiled chicken breast every day, wouldn't that make you depressed? Besides, I think you might misunderstand. People assume girls like guys with muscles, but that kind of body actually scares me a little. I like you just the way you are now." I was speechless. I had to admit, Sophia was pretty cute when she acted all sweet like that. That's probably why my roommates had a great impression of her too. For example, during our first month of school, no matter how hungry she was, she always waited for me to eat together. Even when I was busy, my roommates would often say, "Man, what kind of goddess girlfriend did you find?" But what they didn't know was, Sophia was a master of subtlety. At first, she only got a tiny bit of food for herself, claiming she was a girl and couldn't eat much. Then, naturally, she'd start eating off my plate. I didn't mind. In fact, I started ordering extra just to make sure she had enough. Even though deep down I knew my parents gave me that living allowance for myself, not for someone else, I told myself, as long as I was the one buying it, and I was simply sharing with my girlfriend, then it didn't feel so hard to accept. Maybe it's because spending money on someone and sharing with someone are two completely different concepts. And once I got used to this dynamic, things escalated. She started asking me to go shopping with her. She wouldn't directly ask me to buy things. Instead, she'd treat me to a bubble tea first. Then when it was mealtime, I'd naturally feel the need to return the favor and treat her to a big meal. She'd look at me with that pitiful expression and sigh. Ugh, my bestie is so annoying. She keeps bragging about how her boyfriend took her to another 5-star hotel buffet. Can you believe how fake some people are? And when I saw the satisfied smile on her face afterward, I didn't feel bothered at all. Maybe it was because she'd wrapped her intentions in the appearance of mutual give and take. So even though it was totally one-sided, it didn't feel like I was being taken advantage of. Only now do I realize I've unknowingly taken on most of Sophia's living expenses. The day everything exploded between us was last week. I had planned to bring back some mangosteen for my roommates, but before I could give it to them, Sophia secretly ate the whole box. Looking at the now empty fruit container, I rubbed my temples and asked, "If you wanted some, couldn't you just buy it yourself?" Sophia could tell I wasn't in a good mood. She mumbled, "My family never buys mangosteen. I'd never had it before. You're being so stingy. You get $2,000 a month. This is pocket change to you. Why are you acting so cheap? I'm your girlfriend, aren't I?" She looked both pitiful and infuriating. I gritted my teeth and snapped. My parents gave me $2,000 because they were afraid I wouldn't have enough. Not so I could blow all of it. My parents were the type who worried I might end up relying on others financially. But Sophia's family was the complete opposite. Because of this, we had a fight. After going back to the dorm, I officially started my so-called fitness plan. Chapter 6. Sophia clung to me downstairs by my dorm, trying to convince me, repeating that girls don't like muscular guys. I shook my head and said firmly, "Sorry, from now on, let's stop having dinner together." Sophia looked like she'd just been struck by lightning. "Huh? No way." And for her, it really was no way. I calmly stated, "I need to strictly control my diet. If I can't even manage my own weight, how can I expect to manage my life?" Seeing that I was determined not to take her to dinner, Sophia could only hang her head and walk away in defeat. Once she was gone, my roommate asked, "Hey, Ethan, you really not gonna eat?" I burst out laughing and said, "Of course not. Let's go eat out." No way was I gonna starve myself just because of Sophia. After eating and drinking to our heart's content, the few of us returned to campus. On the way, my roommate David asked, "You and your girlfriend, is there really any point in continuing this?" Yeah. Was there still a point in me and Sophia staying together? Before we started dating, I had thought things through. I wasn't in it for fun. But after 3 years of high school, I realized I barely knew this person. It was only after we got together that I discovered maybe we're just not compatible. Let's not even get into the small things. Just our family backgrounds alone, we're worlds apart. Chapter 7. My family's pretty well off for a third-tier city, sort of local elites. Both my parents are mid to senior level in their companies, and many of our relatives are doing quite well. In terms of spending habits and lifestyle, my family is on a completely different level from Sophia's. Sometimes Sophia would tell me things about her family. She said her mom would purposely wait until after 9 p.m. to go grocery shopping because that's when everything gets heavily discounted. She told me her dad hasn't bought new shoes in 3 years. The soles wore out, and he just got them patched up. She said her younger brother saved up his pocket money for half a year just to buy her a dress. Sophia would get really emotional talking about these things. She often vowed to repay her family one day. But at my house, both my parents are busy with work. My mom doesn't even look at the price tags when buying food. She only cares about freshness. We have all kinds of home appliances to make life easier. Dishwashers, robotic vacuum cleaners, you name it. My mom always says, time spent on chores could be time spent making money. My dad doesn't really care about clothes, but for formal events, his shirts and trousers easily cost over $1,000. They taught me by example. Work hard, spend reasonably. Don't just focus on saving, focus on earning. Money isn't saved, it's made. That's why I've developed a strong habit of financial planning. Whenever Sophia talks about her family with those pitiful eyes, it's hard, really hard, for me to feel any real empathy. Of course, that's not to say her parents are bad or that mine are amazing. It's just we're not compatible. Chapter 8. Just like that, after 2 weeks of cutting fat, I didn't lose any weight. In fact, I gained 3 pounds. Meanwhile, Sophia looked visibly thinner. Her cheeks were even starting to sink in a bit. It was clear that without me footing the bill, her $100 monthly allowance wasn't enough to get by. Sometimes, I really don't know whether I should pity her or try to shake some sense into her. If the money's not enough, why not talk to your parents? Why always cling to me? Maybe my sudden weight gain made her suspicious. One time, I said I wasn't eating dinner, but secretly ordered takeout. Just as I went downstairs to pick it up, Sophia suddenly appeared out of nowhere, arms crossed and fuming. "Babe, I thought you were watching your diet." Holy crap, caught red-handed. From the way she looked, you'd think I stole her food or something. I kept a straight face and said calmly, "Yeah, this is just boiled chicken breast, part of my diet plan." In reality, it was fried chicken and fries. Sophia was speechless. Chapter 9. A few more days passed, and the school announced a cultural arts festival. Sophia had always been involved in this kind of thing back in high school, so she signed up for a performance in her department. Because of the takeout incident, I hadn't spoken to her for several days. Maybe she felt a bit embarrassed too, because today was the first time she called me, asking if I could come watch their rehearsal. To be honest, a big reason I fell for Sophia in the first place was seeing her elegant, graceful performance during a school show. Just thinking about that moment, I agreed without hesitation. When I arrived at the rehearsal hall, sure enough, Sophia was rehearsing. She waved at me with enthusiasm and called out, "Babe, over here. I'm right here." In that moment, it felt like I'd been transported back to high school. I sat back and watched their rehearsal for an hour. Sophia was front and center, dressed in a white short dress. The skirt swayed beautifully with the rhythm. Honestly, it was quite a sight. When they finished, Sophia ran over to me and introduced me to the others. "This is my boyfriend. We were in the same class in high school." Her friends all teased, "Ah, high school sweethearts." I smiled and greeted everyone, then handed Sophia a bottle of water. "You're all done, so I'll head out now," I said. But Sophia clung to my arm. "Don't go yet. It's everyone's first time meeting you. They want to chat more." "Hey, Could you treat us to some drinks? She added. Last time Maria's boyfriend treated everyone. Why should I have to do it just because someone else's boyfriend did? What kind of logic is that? But I figured drinks weren't too expensive, and I didn't want to make a scene in front of everyone, so I nodded. Sure, okay. What I didn't expect was this group of girls running into the nearby convenience store and loading up. Everyone grabbed bubble tea, multiple bottles each. Some even picked out ice cream, and only the fancy, expensive ones. Final total, $25. Seriously that much? Seeing my face darken, Sophia said, Don't be so stingy. You get $2,000 a month. This is nothing for you. That $2,000 allowance had become some kind of cursed mantra for her. I took a deep breath. I didn't want to argue in front of everyone. Looking straight at her, I said quietly, Next time something like this comes up, don't call me. Chapter 10. After getting to know Sophia deeply over the past 2 months, I've decided to break up with her. Even though she's gentle, caring, and beautiful, she's just too delicate. She constantly needs me to drop gold coins for her. This kind of relationship just isn't something I can accept. So, I plan to be honest with her and lay it all out. But every time I tried to bring it up, she would interrupt me, either by sweetly bringing me water or saving me a seat, or by tearing up and looking heartbreakingly pitiful. Clearly, she had no intention of letting me go. I figured the school environment was too crowded and messy. Maybe we'd talk more clearly outside. Coincidentally, my old phone had run out of storage, and I needed a new one. So, I invited Sophia to have dinner near the mall, thinking I'd bring it up there. She was cheerful the entire way and, surprisingly, even booked us movie tickets on her own initiative. Seeing her like that, I started feeling guilty again. When we arrived at the mall, Sophia earnestly helped me pick out a new phone. I don't really play mobile games and have no special preferences for phones, just something with decent storage and smooth performance. After browse for a while, Sophia strongly recommended a model that cost over $700. I looked at it and said, Isn't that a bit much? But Sophia replied seriously, Babe, you get what you pay for. This one's sleek, high performance, and super reliable. It'll last you a long time. So I stopped hesitating and paid for it. Right after the purchase, Sophia looked even happier than I was. Holding the phone, she said, Babe, didn't we say we'd get matching phone cases? I'll take this to get a custom one made. It'll be a surprise when it's done, okay? I was speechless. How the hell was I supposed to bring up a breakup after that? Chapter 11. The next morning, just as I picked up my phone from my bedside and was about to leave, my roommate asked, Where's that new phone you bought yesterday? Did you give it to Sophia? I shook my head. Nah, she just took it to get a custom case made. My roommate gave me a look. Have you seen Sophia's social media today? I paused. He handed me his phone. Right there on screen was a 9-photo selfie collage posted by Sophia, with the caption, The new phone camera hits different. My roommate said, That phone's way overpriced, mostly because influencers and selfie lovers buy it for its camera. I froze for a second. I didn't even need to think who else, but Sophia would love a selfie camera like that. He added, Ethan, do you think maybe she misunderstood and thought it was a gift? My head was spinning from the sheer frustration. Being with someone like Sophia meant I had to constantly worry about getting scammed or leached off. I couldn't take it anymore. Veins bulged on my forehead. I immediately tried to call Sophia, but no matter how many times I dialed, she wouldn't pick up. Not answering. Fine. You can dodge me, but you can't dodge the dorm. I jumped on my scooter and rushed over to her dorm building. I asked the dorm manager to call her down. A few minutes later, Sophia came running, out of breath. She asked, Babe, what's so urgent? Chapter 12. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I snapped. That phone you made me buy, was it always meant for yourself? Look at this post you made. What's that supposed to mean? For a moment, Sophia looked flustered, but then her eyes darted around, and she quickly put on a pitiful face, saying, Babe, you've got it all wrong. I just wanted to show off a little to my roommates that my boyfriend was willing to buy me a phone. All their boyfriends have done it, and I didn't want to feel looked down on. Why are you being like this? I had no patience for her nonsense. I took a deep breath and said, You know exactly what's going on now. Give me the phone back. Sophia pouted. It's not ready yet. I still need another half day to finish the customization. I lost my temper and yelled, This is my property. Are you giving it back or not? Or do I need to call the police? Seeing that I was truly furious, Sophia finally relented. Fine, take it. You're so petty. I was just trying to do something nice, make people say good things about you. I gritted my teeth. I don't need you to do anything nice for me. Just don't screw me over. That's enough. Maybe I pressured her too much, but she grudgingly went upstairs and brought the phone back to me. I took it home. The phone was still warm when I turned it on. I found it mid-upload. She had just recorded a dance video and was uploading it to some website. I was fuming. Just as I was about to reboot the phone, my roommate looked over and said, "Hey, she didn't even log out of WeChat." Chapter 13. Maybe I was in too much of a hurry. Sophia hadn't even logged out of her WeChat account. At first, I didn't want to snoop, but suddenly a message popped up from a contact. Big brother Ethan won't be mad, right? Big brother Ethan? It had to be Sophia's little brother. Since it was directly related to me, I tapped it open. What I saw next was wild. Her little brother had asked, "Isn't it kind of wrong to trick Ethan into buying such an expensive phone?" Sophia replied, "What's wrong with it? That just proves your sister's got skills. You have no idea how amazing this phone is. Photo quality, video playback, totally smooth." Her brother, "But sis, didn't you save up some money? Just ask mom and dad to buy you one. Don't use Ethan's." Sophia replied, "It's fine. I'll just act cute and cry a little in a few days, and he won't have the heart to ask for it back. He totally falls for that stuff. Besides, he's a big spender, he doesn't care. You didn't see it, but yesterday I glanced at his bank balance. Even after buying this phone, he still has over $10,000 in there." Then she sent a bunch of excited emojis, little shocked faces, and party icons. Clearly she was thrilled. Her brother replied, "Over $10,000? Sophia, yep. His stash is bigger than our family's total savings. If I don't spend it, who will?" At that point, my blood pressure was spiking. Her brother messaged again, "I just don't think it's right. I mean, it's his money. You really shouldn't listen to mom about always taking advantage of people." Sophia replied, "Being his girlfriend is his privilege. What's wrong with spending a little of his money? Like that backpack. Last time you begged mom and dad forever, and they still didn't buy it. Ethan just gave it to me without even blinking. His family's rich. We should redistribute the wealth." So that backpack was one of the triggers too? If I had known then, I'd rather have tossed it in the trash or sold it for scraps. Even worse was what I saw next. Chapter 14. Her little brother replied, "Sis, I really don't think this is right. It's going to ruin your relationship with him." Sophia responded, "It's fine. I've almost trained him to be as obedient as a doormat. But lately he's been a bit disobedient, so stingy. Total cheapskate." Her brother wrote, "Ethan isn't stupid. If you keep scheming against him, of course he'll be upset. And if he breaks up with you, you'll regret it too late." Sophia replied, "Break up? He dares break up with me? Let me tell you something, little bro. If I really wanted to squeeze money out of him, it'd be too easy. The only reason I haven't is because I'm kind-hearted. If he ever takes me to a hotel, I could threaten to report him for forcing me. After that, he'd fall in line real quick and be my ATM for life." Her brother was shocked. "What the hell are you saying? That's false accusation." Sophia wrote back, "So what? I even joined a sugar baby gets rich support group. Tons of girls are doing this. They even share strategy templates." Her brother, "You're joking, right? Tell me you're joking." Sophia sent back, "Who's joking? I've thought it all through. If Ethan refuses to listen, I'll call the cops. At that point, he'll pay whether he wants to or not, or he can enjoy life in prison. Ha ha ha." Her brother wrote, "You've lost your mind. I'm done talking to you. Do whatever you want." But Sophia kept going. "Listen to me, bro. When you get a girlfriend one day, be careful. I haven't done anything yet only because I still have some feelings left. But if Ethan keeps acting up, I'll show him what I'm capable of." Her little brother might have had some conscience. He stopped replying. But Sophia kept rambling. "Do you know how rich Ethan's family is? Back in high school, his dad picked him up every day in an Audi A6. If he weren't rich, you'd think I'd bother with him? Your sister was the school beauty, okay? When I marry him one day, he'll buy a new house for the whole family. Your tuition and study abroad dreams covered." Chapter 15. After reading the entire chat log, I was so furious I could barely breathe. What kind of hell-level content was this? So this was the real Sophia? Absolutely terrifying. My roommates read through everything with me. Everyone was dumbfounded. One of them said, "This is insane. Total psychological warfare. Hell is empty. The devils walk among us." Another muttered, No wonder Sophia had been hinting lately that she didn't have to go back to her dorm at night. I'm naturally conservative, and I'd already been doubting this relationship, so I never crossed that line. Thank God I didn't. So that's what she had planned. One roommate said, "This is messed up. Shouldn't we call the police? Seriously? Just knowing people like this exist gives me chills." Another added, but a third roommate scoffed. "Oh, come on. The cops won't do anything about this. You think too highly of them." Let me put it this way. If you had slept with her, even with all this chat evidence, the moment she claims you forced her, you're probably going to jail. I fell silent, trying to clear my thoughts. After a long pause, I finally said, "You're right. But even if the police won't help, I'm not going to just sit here and take it. As a modern college student, I'll deal with this gold digger on my own terms." Chapter 16. Heaven had mercy on me. It let me discover Sophia's true nature ahead of time. I didn't hold back. I took screenshots of all our chat records, arranged them in order, and pasted them into a PowerPoint. Then, I wrote out every detail of my relationship with Sophia, how it started, what happened, and how it ended. Next, I created a group chat. The group included almost all the student union representatives from different departments of our university. People invited others, and the group filled up quickly. I set 2 restrictions for this group. 1. Only guys could join, and 2. The number was capped at 49. Sure enough, once Sophia's PowerPoint was posted, it spread like wildfire. At first, it only circulated among the male students at S University, so Sophia had no idea. She noticed some guys whispering about her and assumed it was because she was too attractive. She even messaged me, "Do you know how popular I am? So many upperclassmen can't stop staring at me. You'll regret this." The next one read, "Babe, but I only like you. Don't ignore me." By the time Sophia found out the truth, 2 or 3 days had passed, and pretty much the whole school knew. She exploded with rage and called me, shouting, "Ethan, you're so cruel." I didn't say anything at first, just hit the record button. Then I replied, "Sophia, you say I'm cruel? Aren't you the one who's manipulative, shameless, and downright vile? Listen, I'm breaking up with you, and from now on, we have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Don't ever try to contact me again." Finally getting those words out felt amazing. Sophia yelled, "I was just joking when I said those things. I was only messing around with my brother, okay? I didn't actually do anything. Now you've blown this out of proportion and ruined my reputation." I sneered and said, "Reputation? You think you had one? You told me your mom only gave you $100 in allowance because she couldn't afford to support 2 kids. Can you swear that's the truth?" I even had some chat logs between her and her mom saved on my phone. Things even more outrageous. To put it simply, most of the ideas about taking advantage of me, eating my food, using my money, milking me for everything, were actually her mom's suggestions. Her mom had said, "What's the old saying? A woman marries to live a comfortable life. It's tradition for men to spend money on women. If a guy's too stingy to spend money while dating, what good is he? Sweetheart, don't miss your chance. If you don't spend his money, it's a waste. Their family's loaded. Spending some on you is nothing. Men are dumb. Just say a few sweet words, and they'll be falling over themselves to spoil you." When I read that, I was speechless. Sophia's mom was either a seasoned manipulator or had read too many self-help books full of manipulative wisdom. Or maybe she really believed her daughter was some sort of goddess, and every guy should be falling over himself to spend for her. Either way, I wanted nothing to do with that kind of family. Count me out forever. Chapter 17. Seeing Sophia stammer and fail to get a word out, I mocked her. "Sophia, is your mom not very well educated? How come your brain runs like a single-thread CPU? And what exactly does she want from me anyway? Why doesn't she ever wonder what a boyfriend might be after in you? Women marry so they never have to worry about food and clothing." What's the next line? "Men take a wife so there's someone to keep the household in order. You trot out traditional values when they suit you, but the moment they don't, they're suddenly feudal garbage? If you love traditions so much, go carve the 3 obediences and 4 virtues across your forehead first. Listen up, Sophia. What I'm doing is keeping other people from getting scammed. I'm accumulating good karma, and I'm ringing an alarm bell for you so you don't take a wrong step." Sophia snarled back, "Fine. You really are ruthless. Go to hell, Ethan. Push me hard enough, and I'll drag you down with me. Even if I die, I'll take you along for the ride." I laughed at her impotent rage. I hung up, dumped her on my block list, then carried the recording to the police and filed a report with the school. Police said there wasn't hard evidence, but to head trouble off, they still summoned Sophia in and gave her a lecture. The school took it even more seriously. The counselor called Sophia in several times and warned her that if she made remarks like that again, she'd be forced to withdraw. Getting expelled would wipe out more than a decade of study. Everything she'd worked for would go up in smoke. After that, Sophia kept her head down and never dared to spout nonsense again. When it was all over, one roommate said, "Ethan, you're really brave. Aren't you afraid she'll get back at you?" Honestly, if it were me, I'd just swallow the loss in silence. I thought for a moment. Things had already blown up for me, so I figured I might as well fight it out to the end. The roommate gave me a thumbs up. "You're something else." I laughed. Honestly, someone like that Daughtervine type, living off playing the victim and acting pitiful, totally dependent on her host, values her own hide way too much. No way she'd risk her life going all out against me. All the roommates covered their faces and chuckled. David added, "So true." Chapter 18. And just like that, I thought I was finally rid of Sophia. Who knew that half a month later, she'd start trying to make peace again? She changed her phone number and started sending me apology texts. She wrote, "Ethan, everything before was a misunderstanding. I truly love you." When I blocked her again, she started waiting downstairs outside my dorm building, looking pitiful as she said, "Please don't leave me. Just give me one more chance, okay? No one's ever treated me as well as you have. Right? No one's ever been as easy for you to leech off as I was." Even my roommates were confused. What the hell is wrong with her? Why won't she stop? Everyone knows she's a gold digger now, and she's still humiliating herself. I knew Sophia pretty well. She never did anything without expecting a benefit. I said, her whole situation blew up, so no other guys would dare go near her now. For Sophia, her best bet is to get back with me. Then all the rumors would fall apart. Everyone would just think we had a fight and broke up. No big deal. My roommate nodded. Got it. Never expected her to be that calculating genius. Honestly, I chuckled exactly. For people as shameless as her, I have my own ways. After all, the school had already given her a serious warning. So, I went straight to one of our department's professors and explained Sophia's recent behavior. Given everything that had happened before, I said I was genuinely worried she might try to harm me. The professor took it seriously and immediately contacted Sophia's student advisor. And after that, there was no after that, because I never saw Sophia again. Chapter 19. After that, I lived quite happily at school and barely heard anything about Sophia anymore. Some people said her entire freshman year was miserable because of that infamous PowerPoint. The guys stayed far away from her, and even the girls looked down on a gold digger like her. So in the end, she was almost always alone, completely ignored and friendless. In sophomore year, Sophia dropped out and went back to her hometown alone. Even though I didn't really care where she ended up, we still had mutual contacts from high school. One of them told me that Sophia couldn't make it in university anymore and planned to retake the college entrance exam to start over at a new university. But her parents didn't want to spend the money for her to repeat a year and scolded her constantly. Sophia, feeling utterly wronged, blamed everything on her mom's bad advice, saying that's what led to her current downfall. Her whole family started pointing fingers at each other, fighting all day long. With things like that, chances of her getting into college again were slim. She even cried to her best friend, saying that if she had known how things would turn out, she wouldn't have listened to her mom. She said that she truly had feelings for me at the beginning and even worked hard to get into the same university with me. That part she claimed was real. But once she started following her mom's advice and scheming for my money, everything slowly turned rotten. I don't know if she said those things just to get word back to me, but what I do know for sure is Sophia herself was the real problem. If her values had been right, she never would have listened to her mom in the first place. Judging by the way she talked with her younger brother, she didn't think anything was wrong. On the contrary, she was proud and smug about it. Now she's pushing all the blame onto her parents again. Just another performance. Another act of fake innocence. Chapter 20. With Sophia gone from campus, even the air I breathed felt fresher. I could finally eat whatever I wanted, go to the cafeteria whenever I liked. Thinking back on everything that happened, it was all just one big farce. Of course, I also learned a lot from Sophia. like how you should never flaunt your wealth, and how indecision can cost you dearly. When it comes to right and wrong, you have to stand firm. A situation is either black or white. There's no gray area. Whether someone is a gold digger doesn't depend on how much they took from you, but whether they had the intention and acted on it. Even if it's just 1 cent, if it came from manipulation or deceit, that's gold digging. Sophia's incident also left a lasting impact on our university. That group I created, it stayed. It even got renamed University Gold Digger Watch Group. The group's members came and went, passing the torch from one generation to the next, but everyone consciously kept the member count at 49. People said the group was like a magical mirror that revealed true natures. Anyone with questionable behavior could be posted there, helping the brothers steer clear. So whenever a top-tier gold digger showed up, she'd quickly earn a spot in the group archives. From girls dating multiple guys at once, to radical feminists, to freeloaders from infamous dorms, every gold digger at S University ended up with a case file. It basically became a survival guide for incoming students, a handbook to keep the brothers from getting scammed. In my graduation year, I solemnly passed the role of group admin to the student union president from the junior class. The new admin gave me a pledge, "Senior, I swear I'll protect this group and pass on the legacy." I nodded seriously. Gold diggers are getting more subtle these days. You've got a long battle ahead.